Hey YouTubers, it's Gary from RV Living the Life. I have a project today, so I thought I'd share it with you. It's people that have RVs. I have to change out one of my front jacks on my fifth wheel, so I thought I'd record it. I've never done this before, but I feel it's going to be fairly simple. So I'll give you the highlights as I go along. I don't want to bore you with a long, lengthy video. So let's get started. So this is the jack I need to work on. And what I'm doing is I'm changing out this part of it. The motor I will take off, but I'll reuse it because I feel that my motor is still fine. So get this out of here, get the new one in, and we should be good to go. So the first thing I have to do is I have to disconnect these wires, and it's just to push in a little prong in and you just pull them apart. And the good thing about them is you can't mix them up because they're two different plugs, so they only fit in the plug that they belong in, so there's no way you can mess that up. So now I'll just get all this wire out of the way for now, and I'll get the motor off. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling this wire off of here, getting it out of away from the leg. I've got enough wire here to reach the back. I can't do anything. So till the next step. So I've got all the wire off. The one thing I did not mention is that my leveling system is a Lippert 3.0. But I know a lot of them, and this is not hydraulic, this is electric, so I don't have any hydraulic hoses to mess with. So I just want to make sure that I remember to tell you it's a Lippert 3.0 leveling system. So the next step will be to take the motor off, and what it is a bolt here, and there's a bolt on the other side. So we just take these bolts out, and we'll be able to lift the motor right off. Okay, so I have my two bolts out, and all I need to do is just as simple as that. Lift the motor off, and we're ready to continue. So what I want to do next is I have this bracket here, and I have another one down here. So I want to just make sure I get everything back where it belongs. I want to measure from the top of this to the top of this bracket, and then I'll measure from the top of here to the top of that bracket. That way I know my new one is going to be in the same spot. So the next thing I got to do is I got to take this pin out. It's just a couple of nuts here, and then it'll slide right off. So I've got that pin off, and of course this like drops down, but that's okay. And the next thing I have to do is I have to tear this stuff out. It's like a foam that they put in so there's no hole for animals and stuff to get up inside of. So I'll kind of get that out with a screwdriver or whatever I can poke in there and get it all cleaned out. Okay, as you can see, I've got all this taken out, so I've got a nice gap around that, and what I feel is that with that I will be able to just lift this, undo these bolts, and I can lift this whole thing up and take it out. So I've got the old jack out. It came out pretty good. The only thing I had to do was I had to bend these with a hammer, hit them towards away from it. It was kind of stuck in there, I guess, from just being tight for so long, but it came right off. I just tapped these, it loosened up. I was able to pull it up through, which I thought I would. So it's out, and now I'm ready to put the new one in. So I'm ready to put the new jack in, and one thing I did notice is I do not have to remove this. This will fit right through the hole, so it'll help hold everything in place. So just stick the bottom in. And it fits pretty snug, so it's not too hard for me to hold it up, but what I need to do is get my measurement from where the last one was. Whoops, sorry. I had 9 inches from the top of this bracket to the top of the unit. And pretty good, 9 inches. Now I'll stick my bolt back in here, kind of hold it with my hand, put my net on, and now I'll snug it up so it helps hold that wire in place. Now, I don't want to go too tight yet because I want to make sure I get the bottom of the leg in tight like that. I'll put my bottom bolt in. And in a little tighter. There. Perfect. Alright, I'll tighten these up and then we'll move on to the next step. So the next step is to put this pin back in that you use to adjust this. So what I want to do is lift this up, put the pin through a hole there, and now we'll put this back together. Put the nuts on. And we're all set to tighten them up. Okay, I got that on, and we're looking good. Alright, so I'm ready to put my motor back on. But first I want to make it a little easier on myself and wrap all this wire up now while I have the motor off. Keeps it out of the way. Heard of having extra wire, but this is crazy. Alright, so let's get the motor. Alright, the motor. You just gotta, because this fits a certain way in the chop shaft. So what I need to do is, because this is has 2 flat sides on the shaft, I have to turn this to match the way the motor's going. It turns there. We're close. Gotta do a little more. Pretty close. Okay, I'm gonna put the motor on. I had this inside here has two flat sides, so I just had to adjust this so that when I put it on, it matches the flat sides. You can turn this one by hand when there's no pressure on it. So now we'll put our two bolts in. That one. Here somewhere. All right, get the back bolt in. All right, I'll tighten them down. Okay, bolts are tight, and we'll plug our plugs back in. We just push in, give them a snap. And that's it. Then I'll do is I'll get some of that spray, expanding spray, and spray my hole that I had to clean out. And that's it. Wasn't that hard. So if anybody has a problem, and what was happening is my trailer wouldn't level, and I took the plug off my motor to turn it by hand, and it wouldn't turn. I know the motor turned, but so there was something wrong with the inside of this lower jack. And I'll give you the information where I got it. So, you can do things like this. It's not as scary as it looks. And for me, I saved myself a lot of money through the cost of the part and having somebody do it. So if you're able to do wrenches and screwdrivers and whatever, somewhat mechanical, go for it. Don't be afraid of it. All right. Well, okay, we got that front leg on. Works great. Like I said, I knew the motor worked good, and the leg wouldn't go down very far. Once it got pressure on it, it wouldn't move. So I knew it was the leg. To let you know, I got the leg on eTrailer.com, and mine is a Lippert 3.0 leveling system. I went on other sites and they wanted to sell the motor and the leg, and I knew I didn't need a motor. In fact, I have a spare motor from one of my rear jacks that I replaced. So if you go to eTrailer.com, you just need that piece. They got it right out to me in a matter of a few days, and it matches perfectly and works great. So I hope this helps you, and good luck.